What's up? What's up? Welcome back to the channel. Now we're doing it from the couch again. It's like comfy vibes. I fluffed my pillow for you. I even fluffed this one, but you can't really see it. Look, see? So, this one's going to be all about understanding your value, your worth, and how you don't have to prove it, and how you don't have to convince it. And if you ever catch yourself trying to convince it and trying to prove it to others, what that is all about, how to shift from doing that, understanding why you're doing that. And what's going to happen is you're going to see so many people around you actually doing that. Some of them not even noticing that they are doing that. And what it is, it's these little ways that these concepts are planted inside of us, right? I did a video earlier today, and one idea is, hearing that the first impression is the most important impression, and how you have to make sure you give people the best first impression because that may be your only impression. It's all this, like, think about the immense pressure that you're putting on yourself just having this in the back of your mind, right? That somebody that you're essentially trying to be chosen by whoever for to be deemed as worthy for the thing that you're wanting, right? And it could be for a business opportunity. It could be for like a networking. It could be a friendship. It could be another common one is for a relationship. And the thing to understand, it's your your value is not something for somebody else to notice. And if you are trying to convince them of this, right? Again, with this idea that the first impression is so important, what does that make you do? It puts this pressure on you that now you have to display all of your best qualities. And it gets you to believe that there's certain qualities that you have, right, that you do embody because you're not just one thing. And those qualities are not acceptable. They're not acceptable to be shown. And now you start to pinpoint certain aspects about you that you don't see as valuable. And because they're a part of you, now there's certain parts of you that you are ashamed of or you feel guilty for having. And it makes you put on this mask of only the best qualities. And it's not sustainable because you're a dynamic being. We all are. You're a human being, human, spiritual. You're just dynamic in all these ways. So to try to force yourself to only be one specific way is quite ridiculous. And it's this like it's this non-sustainable thing that is like put upon everybody else to like do and uphold. And what happens is you get tired by the weight of that mask. To try to keep that mask on. And like now it's like, okay, these people like me. It's cool. I got the opportunity for the networking or the business or the friendship or even worse, like for the relationship. And you start to convince yourself that it was only because of the mask. It was only because you displayed your best qualities. And if they were to ever find out that there's other parts to you, that's going to be that's going to be it. That's going to be it. They're going to realize that you were never worthy of this thing to begin with. And it's fucking exhausting, man. It's so exhausting. I remember before is like, this is, you hear about it from like people pleasing, like they call it different things. It's the same thing of like trying to convince others. Man, when I would try to get people to see like how good of a person I am and like how I do know what I'm talking about, and sometimes I'll get in my head and I would get frustrated as to why people aren't seeing what I know is there within me. It's because one, I that's the reflection I'm seeing, right? It's not that they don't see it. I'm believing that they don't see it, and then that's how I'm feeling about the interaction. And then I'm not even allowing myself to be seen to begin with. because I'm only showing a portion of me. There's so much more to me. And the main thing is the parts of the parts of me that weren't the best are the ones that complemented the best qualities. So in in a sense, they both are the best qualities of me because it is me. And in just integrating and loving every part of me, all the ones that come up, the ones that even at one point I wasn't proud of, right? Because I only knew one way to tap into that aspect of me and that energy of me. And I would use it for like, so I have humor, right? I have this humorous part of me. But at the time I would use it to like talk shit. But that was because like growing up in the Bronx and Jersey and PA, like the tri-state area, it's like you got to have thick skin and you got to be able to take it and you got to be able to dish it out. And at times, like what would allow you to um, get the best of the conversation, right, is like to be able to have the best get backs. And sometimes you just got to cut deep. And I had no problem somebody cutting deep with me, so I'll be able to like cut deep. And it's like cut deeper. And sometimes it would hurt people's feelings. It'll be funny, it'll be hilarious, but I would realize that it would hurt people's feelings. And I didn't want to do that when I started this whole journey. So I started to see that part of me as bad. Same thing with power, right? That the my power was something I tried to stray away from because I only knew how to tap into my power for fighting, for destruction. So I saw my power as a bad side of me. But that power is also what allows me to use my voice. It's what allows me to experience my confidence, my knowing, my certainty, my stability. It also keeps me safe, keeps others safe. There's so many ranges to power. There's so many ranges to you. And as you get to see, like those qualities that were bad or you saw like didn't fit this first impression, they're so valuable to you because they're also the human parts of you, right? So like if you're going to meet somebody and let's say you have social anxiety, right? That's what my video is about. And you're nervous. What's wrong with opening up with that? Right? It's like, hey, how are you doing? And what's the common interact? What's the common exchange with that? Hey, how are you doing? I'm doing good. How about you? Number one, nobody's good all the time. All the fucking time, you're good all the fucking time, really. There's that. And also, it's like, it's such a boring, dry response, right? And you hear it so much, you don't even know, like, you kind of shift into autopilot, right? How are you doing? Good. You? Good. And it's like that part, it kind of, it's the same old, same old. But let's say we run back that whole interaction. It's like, hey, how are you doing? And the person says, good. How about you? Honestly, man, I'm pretty nervous. I don't know why, but like, I wanted to talk to you. You seem like pretty cool, but I just felt nervous, like just coming up and like talking to you. And I felt like even like mentioning it, I still feel a little bit of it, but it feels good to just relate it to you and just like have a genuine conversation with you. And it's like, it's up to them at that point if they want to continue, cool. If they get weirded out, it's whatever. Like somebody else is going to vibe with that. But honestly, more often than not, that stands out in such a way that the person is like, holy shit, that's different. Like you didn't just reply with good. You let me into your world, into your experience. And now I feel like I know you more. I feel like I know you better and like I feel safe enough with you that I don't have to try to worry about reading between the lines. I don't have to try to worry about any subliminals or try to really figure you out. I can trust that if you can open up with that, I feel like I could trust you to just have a genuine conversation with me, right? And, oh, excuse me. I'm getting ready to go to the gym. I really wanted to do this, so I drank some pre-workout and mixed with BCAs. So, a little burp. But even like, I mean, with all connections, right? What are you really wanting? Like, through it? What are you wanting and what's the other person wanting? Safety, right? Wanting to know that it's a genuine connection. Relationship, you want the person to be able to feel safe enough to open up to let you in. Same thing with the networking, same thing with business, same thing with all things across the board. You want the person to feel safe enough to open up to let you in. So why not just allow yourself to feel safe enough to open up and then let them into your world? And there's so much value just in that. You get to see, like, there's not really a doing behind that. It's not a physical exchange, but it's an energetic exchange. And the energetic exchange is you're leading by example, right? You're being the leader of this exchange, of this moment in time within this conversation. And in leading in that way, you give people the permission to meet you halfway. And the main thing to come to terms with and be okay with is if they stay and they take part in the conversation, awesome. If they leave and don't choose to be a part of the conversation, awesome. Doesn't change anything. Because we think, again, with all that pressure of having to have such a great first impression, that if we don't have this great first impression, something's off. I did something bad and I did something wrong. And that's why like it didn't go well, because I didn't make a good first impression. I should have done something better. I should have smiled more, or I should have held eye contact, or maybe I should have been nervous, or I shouldn't have fumbled my words, or it's all like this self-attack. Hey, there's 9 billion people in the world. Not all of them are going to be your vibe. And you're not going to be everybody's vibe, right? Like, there's just certain people that, like, you find out, hey, I thought this person was cool. They really weren't. And then there's some people who are just like, I don't even want to go say what's up to them, right? And it's just, and that's okay. And also understand that the same way that it's okay for you to have like those opinions and to have those feelings, it's okay for somebody to have that towards you. And it's just confirmation that you're being you and you're allowing yourself to be seen. And that's your value. That's your worth. That's your purpose. Is to bring your unique expression of life, into this world. For other people to be able to see just another way to go about life. And that's the most incredible part of it all, is to realize there's no effort behind it. If you think about it, the effort is when you try to stop it. When you try to stop your natural expression, it's so much effort. That's why it's so exhausting to overthink, and it's so exhausting to second guess, because you're like, I want to do this, but I don't know. It's so much energy, because it's energy flowing through you, right? Emotions are energy in motion. And then like that second guessing, that overthinking is like you feel it, it's flowing, and you stop it. And you trying to like assess it. You're just like, You just, when you allow all parts of you to be welcomed by you, to truly unconditionally love yourself, then there's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. And you'll just get to fine tune. Like, when I was transitioning from being harsh with people, right? Because like I love being honest. And again, like even like I said before, cracking the jokes and everything, like I would cut through. And I experienced both ends of the spectrum. There was like the far end of being so bluntly honest that it was just like, damn, thank you, Mike, but damn. And then I went all the way to the other end of people pleasing, where I was just like, oh, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm feeling what like true safety and love feels like. My heart is open. I don't want anybody to feel bad. And that wasn't beneficial either, because then people like felt like they didn't fully know me, and then they couldn't fully trust me as much as they wanted to, because if somebody's saying yes all the time or like being nice all the time, then it's like, okay, this is cool, but what don't you like? Not everybody likes everything. And I will still express the times that I didn't like something, but I wasn't as direct as I wanted to be. And think about the people that you trust most. You trust people that say no. Because it's like, hey, if you're willing to tell me no, then I can trust you to let me know what's genuinely a yes and what's genuinely a no. I can trust you to look out for me. You're not just going to say yes just to either avoid conflict or just try to be cool with me. You're okay with being disliked. And I got to find my middle ground. But the way you find the middle ground is just doing it and not feeling bad if it doesn't fully work out in the way that you want. There's so many times where it's just like, as I was introducing that harsh part of me, like back out, and I wasn't judging it and I wasn't making it feel like guilty or bad. But hey, just come out to play. I love you no matter how it plays out. And sometimes it'll be a little harsh. And I'm like, ugh. I felt like I talk to myself all the time. But even like at the event, and the conversation kind of go a little awkward, and then I'll just go back to me and I'll just be like, hey, it's all good. I'm proud that you came out. I'm proud that you came, like talking to this part of me. Like, hey, I'm proud that you came out. I'm proud that you came out, mingled, got to be seen. I love you. I want you to stay here with me. Like, I don't feel bad about it at all. And that'll soothe that intense emotion within me and have it like subside. And that got me to find my balance of it, right? Because it's not going to be the same across the board. You have your own unique harmony of having all parts of you be seen. And because the funny thing is, like, as I guide clients, and people into this, of like this full unconditional love and acceptance of all parts, there's the fear, and it's like saying things that really won't happen, right? It's like, whoa, I have to have a good impression. I'm not just gonna go up and like talk slang, or it's like, come on, really? Like, you better than everybody else in the world. You know the setting. You know how you like to connect with people. If there's anybody in the world that you could trust, it's you. Do you really have to micromanage yourself and make sure that like you're communicating in the way that you see would fit the dynamic? It's you. You don't have to worry about that with you. Come on, trust you. You know you. You know you always have the best intentions. And that allows that pressure to just like release more and more, so you just take off that book bag and you're like, fuck what everybody else thinks. I don't fucking care, because I know the value that I bring. And the value that I bring is I'm an awesome person. And allowing people to see that part of you. I mean, that's why people like to drink. Alcohol's fucking gross. And I drank very fucking heavily when I was in college at Penn State. We were ranked #1 party school, so I drank a lot. But but it gives people the permission to tap into that part of them where they don't care what anybody else thinks, and they allow themselves to be seen. And there's such freedom in that. And the mind fuck about it all is they're loved for it. And that's why they keep drinking, because they love the feeling of being seen, but that's the only way that they've practiced how to get there. So, that's why I like to come in and be like, hey, you could do that without the drinking, because I got to figure that out. And then even like, another experience of this is like, once you acknowledge your value and acknowledge the worth, that it's just it comes with your life. You're worthy of everything. It's not something you need to try to earn. It's something you just get to remember. that you are worthy and you're like invaluable. Like the value you bring is immense and it can't be matched. And because there's your expression of life can't be imitated. That's your value. And in once you own that, you could come face to face with somebody that questions your value and it won't shake your foundation. Your foundation is set. And I had this experience yesterday. Like I was out, went to, ended up being some event. It was cool. People were cool. But there was one person that like led the whole thing. And I was trying to figure out, like, help him get clarity as to like, hey, like what, because he was asking for feedback. I was like, well, why did you bring all of us together? Like, why did you bring us together? And just asking directly like that poked at an insecurity, which I'm okay with. I remember what it's like to have an insecurity poked at. So I just held space, like there, held space by my presence of seeing like, hey, I see your insecurity. I see I poked at it, but I'm not judging it. It's cool. It's safe. And, it got talking to like being directed towards me. What do you do? I said, oh, well, I'm a pattern breaking specialist. And, to simplify it, I'm a life coach, but that's my specialty. I help people break patterns with ease. And he was like, oh, you're able to do that full time? I was like, yeah. And then it's like, how do you do that? I tell him like, how I just made the decisions to be able to do that, have my clientele. Like I work with everybody, but I also specialize working with business owners and entrepreneurs. And I have packages that are specific for them, and I get to charge what's worth what I bring to the table. And then he was like, "Oh, and they get the outcome for that." And I felt the skepticism, and it was like, okay, like I acknowledge I did poke at an insecurity, and I said, yeah, I'm pretty amazing at what I do. I'm very amazing at what I do. And right at that point, it was the deflection back onto me, the projection of just like, oh, well, anybody that ever says that they're good at what they do, they're always like pretty terrible. They're not that good. And I just looked them dead in the eyes and I was like, well, the best part about that is I don't have to convince you. You don't have to believe me for it to be true. I know that it's true. And the fact that I also do this full time, I mean, it kind of, supports that. So it's like, you're free to think what you want. It's okay. It's all good. Doesn't make me feel any kind of way. So, and that, like, he tried to laugh it off and kind of laugh at me. And once he saw that I just didn't budge, I didn't get affected by it, he just ended up transitioning to another conversation, and another person that was part of the conversation was more intrigued, and I actually got to help that person in the moment and shift them through some personal things. And once they saw like how I work, and I helped them, get clarity on some patterns and understand how to shift and start to break those patterns, he was like, holy shit, man, this is fucking awesome. I see why you're able to do what you do full time. I was like, thank you. It's like, yeah, it's fun. It's my favorite thing to do in the world. Like, and that's why I do these videos. Like, literally, especially when people see me in person, it's no different. Like, there's no work mode for me. Like, it's literally how I see life. So that's why it's my favorite thing in the world to do, because I get paid just to be me. And that's, for me, that's the value that I bring. It's just my unique perspective, and I help people gain clarity from that so they can have clarity to reconnect with themselves, and it's amazing to me. So that's why I see such value in helping people reconnect with themselves, because then you start to see your value, and you start to show up in such a way where you get to see in all your interactions, you have immense value, right? It's the things that, the things that light you up, that you love to do, nobody could do it like you. Like, if you really think about it, it's like a microscopic level. The way that you engage the muscles on your face as you're talking, as you're thinking. Like you move your face in a very unique way that only makes sense to you. The tone in how you speak and like how you even gesture or talk or everything, the energy behind it. Like, yeah, there's people that imitate others, but they can only do it for a short period of time because other than those same, if you notice, the people that imitate, they stay with the same phrases because those are the only phrases that make sense for them to emulate that person. But after some time, they have to go back to just being themselves because anything beyond that doesn't make sense for them to express life in that way. It's the same exact thing for you. So it's like there's people that are afraid. I was talking to a friend about this. There's people that are afraid of their ideas being stolen. It can't happen. Like, okay, somebody could do the same thing as you, but they can't do it like you. It doesn't make sense for them to do it in that way. They may do their version of it, their expression of it, but it won't be like yours. The way, again, like every little single thing, it makes sense to you. So you don't have to worry about anybody taking any of your ideas. Even if there's so many representations of like people doing the same song. I remember it was this band called So For Real and this other band, and they did the same songs, or it was like a country singer and So For Real. Yeah, it was a country singer and the R&B group So For Real, and they did the same song like 2 or 3 times, same lyrics, everything, but the outcome was completely different, and both of them were successful. So with that being said, like there's no fear anymore. There's no scarcity. And you get to give yourself the freedom of just like, hey, I'm going to create whatever I want. Even if you're every honestly again, there's 9 billion people in the world. People have similar interests, right? There's so many singers, there's so many rappers, there's so many coaches, there's so many people in fitness. There's so every category. There's so many people because people just like similar things. There's 9 billion people in the world. You're not gonna find one thing that nobody else has ever done. Honestly, it's pretty dope when you come across somebody that likes the same thing that you do. That's a pretty dope similarity. I love fucking anime, right? And it's like, not all my friends like anime, but the ones that do, I could drop in with them about that. Not all my friends like fighting, but the ones that do, I could drop in with them about that. So it's like, again, you're a dynamic being, and just, you know, to have different perspectives about something that you love is just, is cool, is dope. So understand that the value that you bring to life is you're irreplaceable and you're worthy of anything and everything that you want just because you exist. So remind yourself about that. And anytime there's a need to try to convince, just know that it's a part of you that you don't fully know yet. And that's okay. You want to know that because you want to know the value that you bring in this space. Because you don't have to try to convince somebody of your name. Like, if somebody doesn't believe that that's your name, you don't have to be like, oh, well, here's my ID. Let me prove it. No, it's just, you believe me or you don't. That's my name. Don't know what to tell you. But that's something you know. Same thing as like, that's your birthday. What? Your birthday's on New Year's? Like, one of my close friends, his birthday's on New Year's. It's like, what? That's crazy. That's cool. And if there's somebody that's like, nah, there's no way. Okay. I don't need to convince you that that's my birthday. It's my birthday. You believe me? Cool. You don't? Oh, well. But if there's any time where somebody is like, nah, about any quality about you, and you catch yourself like, yeah, and like you're trying to like win them over, then you don't know that about you. You don't know that to be true about you. And in the spiritual side of things, you are actually using that experience to let you know that you don't know that about you and there's a disconnect. So just make some time to connect with that part of you so you can see the value that you bring and you can know that to be true. So whether anybody sees it or not, you remain stable. You remain certain and unshaken. And more of you gets to be seen because energy is not being spent and convincing. It's just being spent and just being. And you get to just bless the world with you. With that being said, I'm going to get ready to go to the gym, get my lift on so I can keep staying swole and jacked. I got to stretch my shoulder. I went to go, and then I switched for a second. But yeah, I'm wishing you an amazing day. If you're watching this at night, I'm wishing you an amazing night. And I will catch you later.